Hello and welcome to our farmers, industry stakeholders and everyone that is interested in farming green maize for profits. And this is Adrian Chiwanga from Seedco Zambia. We are here because out of our interventions in producing top quality genetics in the various seed varieties that we send to the market, we also couple that with agronomy advice. And out of our agronomy advice, the physical platforms are so limited. We can't reach the 5 million people that are farming in Zambia. So we've decided to go digital, and on our social media handles, we do post from time to time some helpful tips on how to achieve top yields in your farming enterprises. And so recently, a few weeks ago, we posted about green maize and how you can achieve up to 150,000 kwacha per hectare with best practice. And of course, because you have the right to challenge that, most of you commented and challenged, but one of you was very specific and they challenged us and said, come and do this with me and let's see if it really works. And that farmer is Mrs. Lauzi Banda. And we are here at Mrs. Lauzi Banda's farm. Thank you so much for welcoming us to the challenge. We are excited to run this journey with you.
I'm also excited.
Wonderful. We fail, but we must win because we are.
Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said in the comment, if Seedco wins, I win too.
Certainly.
So I have been growing maize for quite a while, and when you talked about 150,000 in a hectare, I've never achieved that.
Yes.
And for me, it wasn't so much to say that Seedco is not giving us quality seeds. I think it's also the way we were approaching our farming practices and also how we were growing the maize. So my challenge was to say, come and show me how to do it the right way so that we are able to then produce what is required.
Mrs. Mwamba, your challenge we accepted because, you know, in crop production, there is what we call the yield equation, which our farmers out there have not so much understand. The yield equation starts with the genetics, and the genetics are in the seed that we produce. And I think we do a great job the last 85 years in developing superior genetics that are adaptable to every ecology and are fit for different uses. And so we want to come with that first aspect of the equation with the right varieties for green maize. We'll start from there. And so primarily it's the planning phase, and we would like to discuss more the planning phase and then get into the journey. And we are hoping that here on your farm we can then do some video clips of what we are doing with you so that we can also share it with the farmers out there, and so that if they follow through, as we are achieving great things here, they can also achieve great things out there. But the yield equation really speaks into your challenges that you've highlighted here, the genetics and selection of the correct varieties. And then we talk about the environment in which that variety will be produced. And the environment will include the soil environment and above ground environment. What is there? What is enabling it? What is challenging the seed from reaching optimum potential? And then we talk about the management. How you and us will then manage these factors to make sure they are in our favor for the yields we are targeting. And of course now to address your 150,000 kwacha, which is the S aspect, which is the socio-economic or sustainability aspect of the equation. So we will do the genetics aspect, we will do the environmental aspects, the management aspects, and then the socioeconomics, which is the profits, and sustainability, because you've got to repeat this and it works
over
again.
And over again.
You repeat it.
Yes, I mean, I'm so happy that you actually came out and we are going on this challenge. For me, it's exciting, but also not just for myself. I think for other farmers as well who've had challenges in growing maize. I mean, from the discussions we've had, I've already seen that there are other areas where there were some gaps that we were also missing as well. So it's great that we can take this out to, to the public. They can see how Seedco actually has best practice standards that we should all follow in order to get the yields that you promised us. Yeah, in most cases, I mean, as farmers, for me, if somebody tells me, go and get a base of fertilizer, D-compound,
exactly.
I will not look at all the different mineral elements that are in there. As far as I'm concerned, I've been told to use D-compound in maize production, and that's all I will look at.
And I hear you, Mrs. Mwamba, and I understand. It's because it worked 65, 70 years ago. And when it was working, the soils were richer. There was not so many plants that had extracted the nutrition. But as we go, you've observed, especially our grandparents, our parents that would farm in the village, and they call you and say, Munda unasila, so tinakuka popaja, it's because every plant, every cropping enterprise then extracts everything, and all you are replenishing maybe is the compound D and urea, which is NPK. Basically, it's NPK. The older compound D had sulfur in it. The later one really has sulfur in it. So we are working with 3 elements and depriving the plant of 13, and we expect for it to still give us
it makes a lot of sense.
Good yield, And thank you for allowing us again to come and collect soil samples on your farm, and we took them for analysis. So I came with a report, and I tell you what, that report has got about 20 parameters. That is jargon. It's not your it's not your
I don't
place
know anything
to start
that's here.
laboring with what is here. We will interpret it for you, and then this report helps us understand whether your field, first of all, can grow any maize at all. And I'm glad to bring the good news to you that yes, we can grow maize.
Thank you.
Yeah, it may not be the optimal potential field for maize, but yes, we can grow maize in it, and we will achieve somehow what we are aiming to achieve here. So basically, I would like to run with you on just about 4 or 5 salient features on this report that are critical, that we address in determining nutrition programming. Because what we bring you as a seed and what we feed it is what ultimately gives us the yields we are looking to sell, to give us the amount of revenue that we have targeted, which is 150,000 kwacha. I'm not forgetting that number per hectare. So here we submitted this soil sample, and it was analyzed by, I think, one of the 2 trusted labs that I know. This report is got pH. If you look at your pH, it's saying, what's the number on the pH?
6.7.
6.7 is a slight acid. It's on the border of slight acid going to neutral, and that's good for maize. So maize can thrive in anything between 6 and 6.5 for optimal yields, but 6.7 is good still. We can manage to buffer it down through the journey by a choice of fertilizer products that we choose, and we can still achieve good nutrition uptake. And then the next item on there, I would say, is your level of P. Go for that P Bray 1. What does it say?
It's at 92.
So 92 means you have lots of phosphorus in your soils. Your soil is so rich in phosphorus, the crops before have not been able to uptake all the phosphorus that's in the soil, meaning we will not go very high in our phosphorus recommendation for your soils. In fact, for a 10-ton crop or for a 50,000 good crop size that we are aiming for, that level of phosphorus is good enough for extraction, as long as the other aspects that we'll talk about are enabling the plants to uptake it. And then the other aspect there is your K. Very important, the K there, the K, your K in green. What's the number?
It's on
against
98.
The K? 98, and 98 is on the borders of good. So for K, if you'll have anything between 90 and 120 seated as soil reserve K, you have some good amounts of K.
Sorry, what is K?
K is
for
potassium.
A layman like me.
So K is potassium. Every plant will need about 16 mineral elements for it to give you optimal yields. Unfortunately, our D compound and urea actually only gives us 3 of the 16. And so it's appalling that farmers out there will think that they will get high yields when they've only used 3 out of 16 mineral elements. I'll quickly jump to what we are saying EC there. The EC is, what does it read? What's the number?
So for me, it's at 6.1.
The 6.1 there. So EC is acronyms for effective cation exchange capacity. So it's the capacity of your soil, basically in layman's language, to hold water or moisture in the root zone and to hold all these nutrients in the root zone without them running away with the irrigation or running off with the irrigation, depending on how good or how poor you prepare your land. So that ratio there is very important to inform me, who is your nutrition advisor, how to structure your fertilizations. So that we are not applying all of it that we say the plant needs to give us our optimal yields. Because we have a number. If we are chasing 10 tons per hectare, the fertilizer must be this quantity. But then how do we structure it in the production journey? We use the norms that have been researched, how much the plant is uptaking per time. And then we also use that EC number there to determine how much, especially nitrogen, we must be applying per time. So that 6.1 is showing us that your soils have the capacity to hold about 60 units of N. Again, that's also jargon. Leave it to me. I'll program it properly. When you will come in with urea, when you will come in with whatever base of fertilizer and whatever other top dress fertilizers that we will advise according to what we've seen is lacking on your plant. And that is how we'll run the journey.
So what is the threshold? I mean, what's the standard for 6.1? What is the best one? When do you know that there's a problem?
The soil is rich. So when that number reduces to something below 5, I begin to say the soil needs a lot of organic matter to improve it. When that number is around 7, 8, we have a happy soil. That number goes together with your clay content, which is on your second page. On your second page, you have your clay, silt, and sand aggregates. What are the numbers against your sand?
Sand is 75. And
then silt is?
Silt is 12.
And clay is?
Clay is 13.
So because the clay is 13, your EC cannot be above 7. When your clay begins to go towards 15, and the ideal clay, and the type of clay too matters. So the ideal clay percentage is 15 to about 25%. Then you will find your EC seated anywhere between 7.5 to even 9. So in this case, you can't go and find clay and start putting it in your soil, but we can change the organic matter content, which also improves your effective cation exchange capacity.
So is this where the likes of manure comes in?
This is where the likes of manure comes in. This is where the likes of, after we've harvested your maize, making sure that we take back all the crop residues into the ground and it decomposes with the soil. This is where it comes in. This is where no burning. This is another aspect that makes us say, please do not burn. Because if you burn and take away and destroy the organic matter, the EC of the soil will never improve, and then the microorganisms that are supposed to feed on that organic matter from the plant and also later on help us convert the fertilizers into plant-ready nutrition, they are also burnt together with
So
the burn.
one thing I've noticed is when people have burnt a lot, the soil becomes much lighter. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It becomes weak actually.
Yes.
It becomes poor, and until they also move and say "munda wasile," which is the
Yeah,
most common
okay.
phrase